Hello and welcome to our last in our conversations around the Edinburgh Finance Declaration. This is a conversation with the Canary Wharf chaplains. I'm Fiona Stewart-Darling.
I'm Ibrahim Mogra.
I'm Moshe Freedman.
So our final value we're talking about today is the common good. As we begin to think about the common good, in particular with regard to economic life, we should not see it just as a sum of individual goods or the total national output. We need to have a purposeful approach to economic activity where goods are not just restricted to the personal benefit of the individual investor, but to the common good of all. Therefore, those involved in economic activity should seek to promote something which is much more beneficial for everyone.
I think it's a very important point. There are two elements to the common good. One of the sages of the Talmud, who lived in the 2nd century BCE, was called Hillel. He was one of the leaders of the Jewish people. One of the famous quotes that he came out with was, "If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But if I'm only for myself, who am I? And if not now, when?" So it's a very cryptic quote, but what it means is, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? There's an individual responsibility, an individual aspect of our character that needs to think of others. We have to do that ourselves. No one is going to do that for us. But similarly, if I'm only for myself, who am I? There's a collective responsibility as well, that we all have to work towards a better society. And the last part, if not now, when? Well, this is an immediate problem. We can't put this off to some other time. We have to think about these things now.
That's a beautiful reminder. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, said that we cannot be proper believers until and unless we love for our brother and sister what we love for ourselves. So we can be very selfish in thinking that I'm going to work for what's good for me and my immediate family. But really we have to have a global outlook and work for the common good of all. And we wish for others what we wish for ourselves.
I think that's right, because it's the face-to-face stuff that makes a difference. We can talk about the common good of all, but actually we take responsibility when we actually have to look at someone face-to-face. Aristotle and later Aquinas talked about the common good in smaller communities, in families, in societies, in guilds and in congregations, because it's only when we are faced with people we get some idea of what our behaviour should be towards other people.
I also wonder how rights and responsibilities comes into all of this, because in any society, I think it's important that the government legislates and regulates for the protection of individuals, the rights of the individual, but at the same time, that can't replace the responsibility that we have to one another and to doing the right thing.
You've just reminded me of a parable that Prophet Muhammad gave of people about to board a ship, and they're allocated the upper deck and the lower deck. And people on the lower deck, each time they want water, they have to come upstairs, and they feel that they're causing inconvenience to those on the upper deck. If they decide to make a hole on the lower deck and the people on the top don't stop them, then they will all perish. But if there's collaboration and cooperation, say, yeah, anytime you want water, you're welcome, please do come up and we'll share the water with you. They will both get to their journey safely. So this is about the common good of all on that ship, and the whole planet is a ship that we're all sharing. We've got to really work for the common good.
And I think that's right, and I think we talk about the common good a lot, and it's really important to think about what do we really mean about the common good, how do we find it, how does it work in our own communities, our business communities and the communities where we live. This is the final conversation that we've had based on the Edinburgh Finance Declaration, in which the common good is really dependent on the other things that we've discussed, which are stewardship, love of our neighbour, human flourishing, sustainability and purposefulness, justice and equity, of which the common good draws all these together. We hope that you've enjoyed listening to our blogs, and we hope that you'll join in our conversations in the future. Thank you. Goodbye.